What else?
Your guy last night drives it against Jokic. Jokic makes zero contact with him. LeBron makes the layup. Okay, no foul called. And then he falls to the ground, writhing in pain. The problem, of course, with the faker is that he wasn't sure which arm to grab, which arm was hurt.
Big roll, 16 points. James gets inside for the deuce and he lands awkwardly.
LeBron James drove to the rim, slipped past his defender, and finished the layup smoothly like it was routine. Clean move, controlled finish. But right after the play, things took an unusual turn. There was no whistle from the officials, and LeBron went down to the floor, reacting to contact on the play. For a brief moment, the arena's energy shifted as everyone tried to figure out what had just happened. From different angles, it looked like he was reacting to contact around the arm or elbow area, though it wasn't immediately clear how significant it was. Fans in the crowd reacted with a mix of confusion and curiosity, while commentators tried to make sense of the sequence. Moments like this often spark debate because they sit in that gray area between real contact and exaggerated reaction. In today's NBA, drawing fouls has become a skill in itself, and many experienced players understand how to sell contact to get a call. Some viewers see it as a natural part of the game, while others feel it crosses into embellishment. With a veteran like LeBron, who has played at the highest level for decades, these situations get even more attention because expectations are so high. So the real question becomes part of a bigger conversation. Is this simply instinct developed over years of competition, or a strategic attempt to influence the officials in a fast-moving game? That's where opinions start to split.
I don't know where he got hurt to the point that caused this reaction. I think he faking, bro. I just called it. I caught it. He reached for one arm and then reached for the other arm, so he just grabbed both of them. He didn't know which one to play it off with, so he grabbed both of them. Look at it.
LeBron James attacked the basket against Nikola Jokic, got past the defense, and finished the layup cleanly. The play itself looked routine, but right after the ball went in, the moment shifted. LeBron went down to the floor, reacting to contact. Even though on replay the interaction with Jokic appeared minimal, there wasn't an obvious bump or heavy collision that clearly explained the reaction. That's where the confusion started. As he stayed down, it looked like he was holding his arm, first one elbow, then the other, almost as if he was trying to locate where the impact happened. From the outside, it created a strange visual. Fans in the arena and viewers watching replays were left trying to piece together what exactly caused the reaction. Moments like this often become talking points because they fall into that gray area of the modern game. NBA players, especially experienced ones, know how to emphasize contact in hopes of drawing a foul. Sometimes there is real contact that looks minor on replay. Other times, the reaction appears exaggerated compared to what actually happened. In a fast-paced game, referees have to make split-second decisions, and players understand how to influence those calls. When it involves a player of LeBron's stature, the spotlight becomes even brighter, and every reaction gets analyzed from multiple angles, so the debate naturally follows. Was this a case of trying to sell contact to get a whistle, or simply a reaction that looked more dramatic than the actual play? That's where opinions start to differ, depending on how each viewer interprets what they saw.
So he goes to the ground, no foul called, but the bucket counted. By the way, they lost to the Nuggets because they always lose to the Nuggets, right?
Nuggets are better.
Yeah, they are better. And your guy's now writhing on the floor in pain. He grabs his right elbow, and then he's like, maybe it wasn't that one. So then he grabs his left elbow, and then it wasn't that one. So then one of the guys comes over to try to help him up. He yells, "Oh, my elbow!"
LeBron James attacked the basket against Nikola Jokic, got past the defense, and finished the layup cleanly. The play itself looked routine, but right after the ball went in, the moment shifted. LeBron went down to the floor, reacting to contact. Even though on replay the interaction with Jokic appeared minimal, there wasn't an obvious bump or heavy collision that clearly explained the reaction. That's where the confusion started. As he stayed down, it looked like he was holding his arm. First one elbow, then the other, almost as if he was trying to locate where the impact happened. From the outside, it created a strange visual. Fans in the arena and viewers watching replays were left trying to piece together what exactly caused the reaction. Moments like this often become talking points because they fall into that gray area of the modern game. NBA players, especially experienced ones, know how to emphasize contact in hopes of drawing a foul. Cole, sometimes there is real contact that looks minor on replay. Other times, the reaction appears exaggerated compared to what actually happened. In a fast-paced game, referees have to make split-second decisions, and players understand how to influence those calls. When it involves a player of LeBron's stature, the spotlight becomes even brighter, and every reaction gets analyzed from multiple angles, so the debate naturally follows. Was this a case of trying to sell? Contact to get a whistle, or simply a reaction that looked more dramatic than the actual play? That's where opinions start to differ, depending on how each viewer interprets what they saw.
This is your king. This is your GOAT. A dude that is so desperate for attention. A dude that is so desperate to be noticed that he pretends to be hurt. He can't get back on defense after a made shot because he fell on his arm and got a boo-boo? And I struggle to say LeBron James got a boo-boo because all he did was softly fall to the ground.
When you look at how Nikola Jokic controls a game, running the offense, creating shots for others, and elevating everyone around him, it becomes clearer why the Denver Nuggets often come out on top in these matchups. But after this particular game, the score wasn't what people focused on most. The moment that kept circulating was the reaction on that play, because over time, sequences like that don't just stay isolated clips, they contribute to a broader perception, and for LeBron James, that perception has been debated by fans for years. When he goes down on a play now, some viewers don't immediately assume injury. Instead, there's often a mix of curiosity and skepticism, especially when the recovery appears quick. That reaction from fans comes from repeated exposure to similar moments across different games. It's less about one specific play and more about how those moments stack up over time. At the same time, it's important to recognize why. The discussion feels so intense. LeBron's career resume is already secure, multiple championships, historic achievements, and a lasting impact on the game. Because of that, expectations are different. Every action, even small ones, gets analyzed more closely than it would for most players. That's what makes situations like this stand out. Not just the play itself, but the conversation it creates afterward.
And they take him to the bench, and no one's paying him any mind, of course, because everyone knows he's faking.
Nothing.
And then he comes right back on the court like 10 seconds later.
Oh, thank God he's all
Yeah.
right.
Oh!
You know, I was definitely worried about LeBron.
Yo, it's so comical now that he don't even try to hide it. Yo, flopping on the ground like a flounder. Yo, not sure which arm to grab, so he grabs both of them. Does that, can't get up. Oh, my.
His legacy isn't hinging on a single foul call. LeBron James already has his place secured among the greatest to ever play. The resume speaks for itself, record-breaking scoring totals, elite playmaking numbers, and a level of longevity that's rare in any sport. Performing at this level this late into a career is something very few athletes have managed. That's exactly why moments like this feel confusing to some fans. When a player with that level of greatness reacts dramatically to contact, especially when the replay doesn't clearly match the reaction, it raises questions. Not because it defines his career, but because it seems unnecessary given everything he has already proven. At the same time, the discussion around this isn't new. It has followed LeBron for years, and there are consistent arguments from both sides. Supporters point out that he's one of the strongest and most physical players in the league, constantly attacking the rim and absorbing contact. Because of that, they argue officials may not always call fouls the same way they would for smaller players. Some believe exaggerating contact is simply a way to ensure the referees notice it in real time. Others take a broader view and say that selling contact is part of the modern NBA, something many star players use to their advantage. On the other side, critics focus on moments where the reaction appears out of sync with what's visible on replay. When a sequence includes dramatic contact reactions followed by a quick return to normal play, it can come across as theatrical to viewers. That contrast is what drives clips like this to spread quickly online and spark debate. In the end, it becomes less about one specific play and more about interpretation. Some see strategy within the flow of the game, others see unnecessary exaggeration. And because it involves one of the most watched players in basketball, every moment gets amplified far beyond the play itself.
The Lakers end up the 6th seed, and Denver ends up the 3. Then they get Denver in the first round again. They're going home. They're not beating the Denver Nuggets. I can assure you that. They're not beating the Denver Nuggets. I don't care what anybody says.
At that point, frustration starts turning into something else. Instead of anger, many fans just laugh because the sequence feels so exaggerated that it borders on comedy rather than competition. The timing made it even worse for the Los Angeles Lakers because right after that moment, the scoreboard told the real story. They still lost to the Denver Nuggets. Selling contact doesn't matter if there's no whistle, no call, no free throws, no impact on the result. Meanwhile, Nikola Jokic kept doing what he usually does, quietly controlling the game and securing another win without drawing attention. That contrast stands out. Jokic's style is calm, physical, and efficient, focused on results rather than reactions. And that difference is part of why Denver has had the edge in this matchup recently. Now, shifting away from that moment, there's actually something positive happening around the league. A new name is starting to gain attention. Con Newpel, a rookie from Duke University, is emerging as a surprise standout. Early in the season, most of the spotlight was on Cooper Flagg, who has been putting up strong numbers and living up to expectations. But the rookie race is becoming more competitive than expected. Another name now entering the conversation is Tidjane Salaün with the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte has gone on an unexpected run, winning 6 straight games by 15-plus points, a level of dominance that is extremely rare in the NBA. That surge is forcing people to take a closer look at the rookie class and rethink the race entirely.